That's right. The Most High is gathered in Israel. Brothers and sisters, I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathering of Christ Church here with the elders of the church. Yes, all of us are here. We have Elder Iraq. Well, the most of us is here. We have Elder Dell on standby, as well as Iraq at my side. We have Elder Lawyer, Gabar, Elder Gaja. And it's rare that we have all of the elders on at the same time with almost no issues at all. And man, brothers and sisters, I've mentioned many times before that we are born into a war. This is a war we're born into. We're the children of Israel, and we've been born into a war. And man, if this is not warfare, the original lesson that I was going to go into this evening was breaking down Christ as a lion of the tribe of Judah. And it was titled, The Heart of a Lion. And something came in the midst of Iraq and us preparing things earlier. And I had to change the title. I'm like, we're going to move that for Saturday because there's more pressing issues going on with our people than we could realize. Number one, a lot of our people believe that that this thing is a joke. They think that life is a joke, and they believe that reacting to anything emotional by default, by reacting that way, without any logic at all, it will give them the decided outcome that they imagine. And I'm saying that with pulling it all the way together, starting with the election. Our people have been bamboozled again. And the process proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that it's a banana republic. And they say, we don't care if you all don't participate. They know that we didn't vote for Biden. They knew that Biden couldn't get more votes than Clinton. They realized that. So what did they do? They brought in their own ballots and said that we participated anyway. And how does that coincide with what's going on right now concerning, and you see the title, the war against the elect? Because the people they are showing out there concerning this so-called election don't even realize that by them showing forward that they believe in this electoral system, that in fact, these same people cannot complain with the plans the powers that be has against them. It's as if our people are participating in their own demise. And you know what it is? It's Jacob's trouble. It's Jacob's trouble, folks. I have a few articles that I wanted to go into on YouTube. And guess what? Am I surprised YouTube is down worldwide? Of course I'm not. But immediately, we got the wheels turning. AC reached out and say, listen, what are we going to do? I said, boom, we have a Vimeo account. Let's just shift as many people as we can to Vimeo to receive this message. It's an important message, the most important message today. I have a lot of articles to show, and we're going to give you the real-time understanding of what's going on according to prophecy, so that, first of all, our people can, once and for all, exit La La Land. And don't think that something is going to happen based on your hopes of a specific outcome when it comes to our lives. The reality is, according to the prophecy, we are about to go through some serious trouble. Our people don't know what time it is and how it's going to affect them. Now, again, I mentioned, I'm going to bring the elders in a moment. I'm not a Democrat or I'm not a Republican, but I do have logical common sense. And what I do realize that the party that we've always participated in, the Democratic Party, is the reason we're suffering so. We can't blame what happened to us in our communities and all that being disproportionately thrown in jail, families separated, family court, gentrification, no black male presence in the home, the destruction of family, pitting man against woman, the rise in black feminism that have totally eroded family, the rise in vaccination schedules that have been killing our children, that have been twisting their brains, the rise in psychotropics when they began to go into school and misdiagnose our young boys, claiming they have ADHD or they have other hyper problems which have placed them on drugs and have messed up the rest of their lives. None of us can claim that this and these ills that I've explained and more came through the Republican Party. Because all throughout my life, since I was a child, being raised in North Philadelphia, right off 15th and Diamond, we've only voted Democrat. So what are we looking at? The plans that the Democrats have always had for our people since they was lynching us. Back, in Jim Crow days. Don't forget, it was the Democrats lynching us. Now, why am I going here now? Why am I mentioning this? Well, the Democrats and the powers that be are right on schedule. I'm logical. I'm not a Republican, but I'm logical. I realize, and in looking at both sides, and I know both sides is playing against the middle, but Trump had some things out there. Opportunity zones, strictly for black people, our people. Had like a $20 billion plan to actually invest in black businesses within our community, strictly for us and our communities. He was willing to speak to Ice Cube about doing something for us. And because of this, the majority of black men didn't vote at all or voted for Donald Trump. Because men are tired of being ran by feminists. Men are tired of being ran by, by gays and others. We're tired of it. And if anything, what Trump represented, especially to the white right wing, was the last similitude or the last, what you would call, posture as the United States, where a man, a man who say what he want to say and operate in a masculine manner. If Trump represented anything, at the last, that's what he represented. He represented, I'm a man, which is a threat to this society altogether. Over emotional, illogical society. And it doesn't matter what race you are, what side of the fence you are. You all have to admit, something is going on in this world that have driven the majority of people crazy. I almost said hit the like button, but you don't have to worry about that. Nix the likes. Focus on what I'm saying right now. So, the powers that be understand now that we are off the plantation and we're not going for no hopes. We're not buying their dreams anymore. So what did they do? They drove in truckloads of ballots. Dead people voted. A lot of COVID people who died this year or died under the fallacy of COVID, they voted already through these ballots. 3 a.m, once CNN stopped counting votes altogether, there's proof that trucks rolled in all the, what you would call, major election turning states. Trucks and trucks of ballots came in. You would think that a whole truck of ballots, at least one ballot would have been for Trump. No. Come to find out that Biden, who didn't even have to run, the first president that really didn't have to run at all, do you believe he received more votes than Barack Obama? Can you believe that? Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I bringing up the election and all this? Because you have to realize there was a compromise on some degree, even though Trump is for what he wanted to be for. I'm not saying he's not a racist, he's not down with black people. But as a businessman, he have a vested interest in businesses not going away. So he wanted the mask off. He wanted businesses to go back because he didn't want this to negatively affect his record on the economy. He wanted the mask to go away. He was publicly berating Bill Gates and Fauci and saying, calling CNN fake news and all that. And our people began to wake up. So because of that, the corporate machine got all the way behind the Biden campaign. And it has nothing to do with Biden as president. Biden is nothing more than a cardboard cutout. You know who won? Bill Gates won. That's who won. The corporate structure that would like to lock you all up, that would like to take your children and force vaccinations on you. All you people who saying, well, okay, it's all right as long as Trump is not in there, it's okay. I'm going to show you the ignorance of people who vote strictly off of their emotions. Here's the ignorance of this. I need you all to look at your screen right now. Look at your screen. Now think about this. The same time they got us tripping emotionally, the right-wing Republicans who realized this election was stolen, and yes, it was stolen.
Just because you were once the commander,
okay,
that doesn't mean you can now do
what's
whatever
this?
you want. From driving cars to using
hold
cell
on,
phones,
yeah, hold on.
These are the rules that former presidents have followed.
Yeah, it's okay.
One of the greatest perks of
One
being
moment.
president is not having to deal with traffic every day. For one thing, you've got drivers who can take
One moment.
you where you need to go. And for another, the Secret Service can block off traffic for you to ensure your security. It's no fun for anyone else on the road, but hey,
One moment.
you're the president, and you have important things to
Let me
do.
tell you, the computers are wigging out right now.
Once a president's term is over, they can never drive a car on an open road again. The reason is because of the life.
Now, let me put that away. Oh, YouTube has come back. YouTube has come back. That's what just popped up here. You have it back? YouTube has come back. Yeah, that's what just happened. It popped up. Nah, it's playing. One moment. Let me check it again. Well, it doesn't matter whether it's not. I'm going to do the whole show this way because I'm not going to be deterred anymore. All right? Listen to this clearly, folks. Listen to this clearly. I'm going to show you their plan for our people. And this is why they wrote all these fake ballots out there. Okay? Joe Biden didn't have a snowball chance in hell of winning this election. And they knew it based on what happened 4 years ago under Hillary. And Trump was way ahead, more ahead against Biden. Because Biden, remember, he didn't run. He was in the basement the whole election. And our people had nothing to do with, or couldn't relate at all with Kamala, or whatever she would call herself. That's why we booted her. Our people booted her in the primaries. We don't relate to her. She doesn't relate to us. She was known for throwing us in prison, all in California, locking our people up. That's what she was known for. Joe Biden, he was known for the 1994 crime bill that threw our young children in jail for almost nothing. And guess what? Our people didn't forget this. Only the ignorant of our people who are emotionally triggered. And the only thing they could see is Trump was a racist. Trump is a racist. So they triggered you emotionally, had you go out there, vandalize things, only to allow white people to come in as provocateurs to begin to burn stuff up, to blame it on you. And while you're sitting around talking about no justice, no peace, defund the police, and all that with no protection, you have the red side of things, the Republicans, and the white people seeing what's going on in the cities, training their children to defend themselves against crazed black people. So you got, it's playing on either side. Now, I'm looking at what they're showing on TV concerning black people. Y'all need to go look at Fox News sometimes and check out who they're blaming all this on. They're not blaming it on Biden. They're not blaming it on Kamala. They're blaming it all on you. And when they show black people counting ballots, I've never seen black people stage so much, within an election where you're seeing black people counting ballots and all that. They're trying to blame even this horse and pony show called an election. They're blaming black people for rigging it against Trump. You're the blame for everything. Now, I need you all to look at your screen real quick. Y'all don't have no idea what's about to happen, folks. But if you don't know, tonight you'll know. Look at your screen. We in trouble, man. We are in some serious, our people. Now, the Most High got us. But guess what? I'm going to show you who represents the black man. I used to look up to men like Martin Luther King and his valor, his courage against all odds. Even the strength and the paternal strength of a man named Farrakhan, who was willing to speak against injustice. Look who used to represent us in the 60s and 70s. Strong men, Black Panthers, Huey Newton. Look at the strength. And that's why this Sabbath, I'm definitely going into the heart of a lion. What happened to us? Because here are the men that represent us now. You want to know how we got to where we got to? I'm going to show you. Because I don't see how men like this are going to stop the powers that be from rolling over our people. Look at your screen.
Well, it's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Tell them the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim in this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to...
No, let me tell you, he's so elated that Biden was voted president-elect, okay? This is not a woman here. Let's start it over. Now, the white guy's looking at him. The white guy's, he's holding his water here. How do you think they're looking at us? The men, the lions of Judah. This is what they've effectively done to us.
Van, what are your thoughts?
And it's a gay white dude that's married to another white guy asking the questions, who's actually holding it together.
Van, what are your thoughts? It's well, it's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Tell them the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim in this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to be happy to have babies snatched away or send dreamers back for no reason. This is vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. You know, the I can't breathe. You know, that wasn't just George Floyd. There was a lot of people that felt that they couldn't breathe. Every day you're waking up and you're getting these tweets and you just don't know. And you're going to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism are getting nastier and nastier to you. And you're worried about your kids and you're worried about your sister. And can she just go to Walmart and get back into her car without somebody saying something to her? And you spent so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together. And this is a big deal for us just to be able to get some peace and have a chance for a reset. And the character of the country matters. And being a good man matters. You know, I just want my sons to look at this. Look at this. You know, it's easy to do it the cheap way and get away with stuff, but it comes back around. It comes back around, and this is a good day for this country. I'm sorry for the people who lost. For them, it's not a good day, but for a whole lot of people, it's a good day.
Sisters, you know what I mean? You know what? Oh my God. You know what? You know what? See, I'm walking a tightrope here because Elder Lawyer, Elder Uriah, I don't know. I may have to apologize in some fashion. I don't want to go all the way with it because we got crazed nuts like the one in Jordan. But if this is what our sisters have to deal with out there, I can understand to some degree. And I don't like the masculine posture, but to some of them, not all of them, not giving an excuse to all of them now. I don't want to because they're going to, everybody, all the women about to come on this side and say, tell them Elder Rikashi are, and y'all, you still got to be feminine. But it comes a time where, for the sake of self-preservation, women must do things to actually save themselves alive and defend themselves if men like this are the majority choices. If men like this are the majority choices, then, you know, the Most High says in that day, a man shall be like pure gold. I mean, do you have a scripture? Hold up, before you get hold up. Let's go to go to Jeremiah 30. Go to Jeremiah 30 real quick. Because folks, when I grew up, men were men. There was no walking on eggshells, politically correct, hope I don't hurt your feelings. You know what that stuff gets us? I'm going to show you what it gets us. It gets us rolled over by the weak. It was times men like Bill Gates and others knew that they couldn't engage us regardless of how much they hated us. Little weasels like that couldn't engage real men. They had to wait until they had a society filled with weakness at the helm to prime the earth for Jacob's trouble. They knew they couldn't do it back then because men were men. So let's talk here. And I'm going to go into that. Y'all have no idea what's going on, folks. And I'm about to go through these news articles. I'm going to open it up for elders. And I need your opinion before, as we come. But folks, and this is why I say over and over again, folks, and this is what people wonder why, Elder Lawyer, when it came to guys like that Ben Nathan guy, who I don't know how he even got in position to do anything. Why I was so sharp when I finally found out, because I've just found out what he did last week. Okay? And as soon as I found it out, that how weak somebody would actually, straight take advantage of God's people who already suffer enough. We're already being taken advantage of the white man and everyone else in the society that be. Living between the crosshairs only for people to come into the church and find the enemy ciphering and stealing and destroy it. But I met him like a man is supposed to be met. Okay? Before I put this out online to warn other people about him, I spoke with him. That's men engagement. And now he done scurried somewhere after lying and claiming that some white guy is running the Gathered Christ Church. Listen, I understand they have to lie. They have to lie. They have to. Because without lying, what could you say? We fear the Most High, and we've patterned this church as close as we can to the gospel, to what Christ commanded the disciples to do. So we understand why they're lying, because without lying, what would they have? But I'm getting back to it. Some people out there, when they see me defending the weak, like a woman would have a sister lure people over into another country to sell them to other nations and all that. You would have people come on our page, yeah, this shouldn't be aired out like this and all that. You know why? Because you're not used to men being men and dealing with enemies, engaging the enemy and finishing them. You're not used to that in a politically correct, sissified society. Y'all would rather us say nothing, just teach the precepts while brothers and sisters are suffering, being stole from, being destroyed out there, only for at the end of it all, for the world to blame us for their actions because people loosely associate themselves with our church. The Bible says in that day, a man shall be like pure gold. And now I understand what it means. Masculinity would be rare. Masculinity would be rare. I seen that brother Ted Cruz, the actor. He got muscle. He got more muscles in his neck than the majority of men on earth have on their whole body. And he's sitting there crying on the news, talking about some flabby Jewish man touched his private parts. And he said if it wasn't for his wife training him, he would have reacted differently. Look at it. He says, my wife trained me. No, I mean, woo! I'm going to read these articles, and I'm going to show you what's going on and what men should be preparing for. And then, before we read that, go to Jeremiah 30. Read that for me, Yirach, real quick, and I'm going to bring the elders in. Read it.
Jeremiah 30:1.
Yeah.
The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying,
Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying what?
write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book.
You got to speak closer there because the microphone is over there. A little louder.
For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling and of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins?
The Most High see a man with his hands on his loins like a woman. This is the future black man the Most High showed the prophets. When there's an engaging enemy at the door, he's hiding behind his woman. Read it.
As a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness.
Into paleness, read.
Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
It is the time of Jacob's trouble. But ye shall be saved out of it. Men emasculated like women. And guess what? The enemy is celebrating this. You don't believe that of course there were gay people operating even during the civil rights movement. But our people had enough power to understand that you cannot have that spirit be the face of a movement and the strength of a movement. It was hid. And you know what? Rightfully so. It should have been. So yeah, there was gay people. You can't stop people from doing what they're going to do in their own bedroom. They have to deal with God with their sin. But Martin Luther King and others knew, hey, no way these guys are going to be on the forefront. No. You're going to be giving out flyers and all that. Matter of fact, whatever relationship you got to keep that private because it has nothing to do with us. We are men who love women and children and family. You know how to work the typewriter? Go deal with the typewriter. You know how to play the piano? You go play the piano. But men do men things. There was always gay people in this earth dealing in sin just like any other sin. But that cannot be the face of a movement. It's showing a weakness worldwide. Don't you think, why do you think they sit there and laugh when those videos come out where they showing a strong, tall, 6-foot black man saying, I ain't gay no more. I've been delivered. Why do you think they laugh when some gay, white, pudgy dude go to a prison to find Fleece Johnson and start laughing, talking about he has a special kind of homosexuality? Why do you think they laughing and goading? Because this is something new. This spirit never represented us. So this is telling the enemies on the red side, the Republicans and others, that guess what? The earth is primed for war. And if any time they can win a war to destroy our people is now. Because there's no white gay spirit representing them. Hear what I'm saying here. And because we're primed, this is what you can expect. New studies reveal the locations at highest risk of spreading COVID-19. New York Post. Blow it up so you all can see it. New York Post. Look at it here. Most COVID-19 cases in large U.S. cities stem from visits to just a few types of places. A new study suggests. Hold on. A new study suggests restaurants, gyms, hotels, and houses of worships. Now, 80%, 70% of the people that actually go to church are black people. Restaurants, gyms, hotels, and houses of worships are among the 10% locations that would appear to account for 80% of the infection.
What about political rallies?
Yeah, political rallies are okay. If you want to go out and steal a TV and loot so that they can show us as animals, that's okay. But if you do all these things, normal social things that make life worth living, you're 80% of the threat. I'm going to show you what our people signed up for, claiming that they were behind Biden and this Indian, Kamala, who conveniently now, after getting put in position because no one voted for her, now she's identifying again with her Asian side. She's a black Asian now, like we told you would happen. She was only a black woman when it was convenient to use people who are emotionally unstable, who would vicariously live through her to believe she would have something to do with you. Now, %80 of the infections, according to research published in the journal Nature on Tuesday. These are places that are smaller, more crowded, and people dwell there longer, said study co-author and Stanford University professor Zora Leskovic at a media briefing on the research. CNN reported reducing established capacity to 20% is opposed to shutting down entirely could curb transmissions by 80%, the professor said. Now, we know this is all felonious garbage. What they're saying is black people has created 80% of the problem to why the whole earth is wearing masks and may be on lockdown or disproportionately, or people being killed and all that under COVID, is because of these black people who go to church, who crowd together. Now, how do we know they're talking about black people? See, they don't say black people, but see, you have to read between the lines. Listen here. Our work highlights that it doesn't have to be all or nothing, Leskovic said, whoever the hell that is. The study, which included researchers from Northwestern University as well as Stanford, analyzed cell phone data from 98 million Americans in 10 major cities. Listen to the cities, folks, including New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston. The researchers tracked people movements to locations such as restaurants, cafes, grocery stores, gyms, hotels, as well as doctor offices and places of worship, while looking at the coronavirus counts in their areas. On average, across metro areas, that's poor areas, full services, restaurants, gyms, hotels, cafes, religious organizations, you see how they keep highlighting that, and limited service restaurants produced largest predicted increases in infections when reported, the study said. Leskovic added that based on the research model, infections are happening very unevenly. Now, unevenly means our people opposed to everyone else. There are 10% of points of interest that account for over 80% of all infections, he said, according to CNN. Residents suffer the worst, the study indicated. That's at least partly because the residents have fewer of these locations available to them, so the sites become more crowded. For example, our model predicts that one visit to a grocery store is twice more dangerous for a lower income individual. Here they go now. They don't want to say black, right? They don't want you to know that they're at war against God's people. Here they go now. CNN. For a lower income individual. So based on your financial status or the lack thereof, you are a threat to everyone else because you're low income. COVID is low income specific. I mean, what an intelligent disease. What an intelligent disease where it goes to the border of North Philly and say, well, okay, I'm cool. There's no need to go over here where you white folks are. Compared to higher income individuals, Leskavec said, this is CNN, the same people who's out there straight out knowing that they totally just stole this election so that they can progress this campaign to destroy our people. This is because of grocery stores. So that means low-income people are going to have a problem getting food, right? Who stated this? To get your food ready. This is because of grocery stores visited by lower-income individuals. On average, 60% more people by square foot. And visits, you black people, y'all be packing in these restaurants and y'all don't be social distancing like white people. And they built them like that.
Everybody knows the difference when you go there.
But it's okay for black people to squash together in a Black Lives Matter rally, spitting on each other, trajectories all over the place, and see that same CNN will come out and say, well, you know what? There's no way we should go against this peaceful protesting. That's peaceful protesting when you have black people acting a fool. Still, the study did not track people to locations with potentially large populations such as schools, prisons, nursing homes. And you know why they don't want to deal with those places? Because those places are already controlled population. And if you say that the COVID conditions that you claim on the outside is the same for the inside of jail, then you would have to release these people.
Hey, but Elder, can I come in real quick?
Yeah, come on in.
Yo, check it out. You know what's even crazy about this report here? And that for me, it just don't make no sense. They're saying that they're using the tracking technology, right? To track, using the tracking on your phone. But if I go into a restaurant, your tracker don't tell you when I leave the restaurant. Or if I go into the supermarket, when I have left the supermarket. So for you to say that this tracking is tracking me into air, it don't make no sense. It like I'm listening to it, but I can't wrap my mind around it. Like, yo, if I walk into a restaurant to buy food, your tracker don't tell you how long I'm in or when I left the restaurant. It don't. You understand?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy what they're saying. What really should say is that, yo, this is a declaration of war.
Yeah.
This is a war cry right now, a declaration of war on what they would call low income or minority going on right now. That's what this is. You get me? This is what. Listen, I'm listening to it, and it's like, yo, and not only that. All right, was it even legal for you to track my phone information? It's
No.
It's like a whole heap of things going on right now. Where are people seeing what's going on? We don't know where this. We don't even know who this is. Having your phone information as to what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something, man. People, you see these smartphones that we have? We're gonna have to start leaving them somewhere, yo. You with me? Stop taking them out of your house. Leave it. You with me? Because they're going to use this against us. And it's not just in Babylon. It's all over. It's the same MO that they're using in the UK and Caribbean, where the government saying, okay, if you're coming into the country, we're going to install a tracker onto your phone. Yo, let me tell you, man. And Elder, like even what you just played before with that I don't know what he is. What community does he represent? And who said that this guy can represent us? I don't get it. I'm puzzled. You with me? I saw the interview with him crying. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? When has this country or this empire, right, anywhere ever been tolerant to anybody other than themselves? The same people that lynched you, right? That lynched you and all of that, right? It's the same people that know you're relying to give you a vaccine to save you. Come on, man. Our people are stupid. You with me? Sorry, I mean uninformed. Let me rephrase it. Nobody start talking and say, yo, it's crazy.
Well, guys, real quick. This is why even with our churches, we don't got to worry about that. Because all of our churches know the protocol. We have our cell block bags. We make them ourselves. IamApparel.org. You go there, you get a cell block bag with the Most High's name, GOCC. We have state-of-the-art radio blockers in it where as soon as you put it in there, the signal goes away. So we can gather and all that, and our cell phones will be neatly put away in the bag. And once we're done, a few miles away from where we have to gather, because it's not wrong to gather. It's wrong for them to privately try to track us. It's against our privacy right and our sovereignty. So,
exactly.
So we have the bags to disappear, and we'll show up 2 miles later someplace else. We can go to the supermarket and no one know we're there, because guess what? If your phone is in one of these bags, you do not exist on the digital grid. And a lot of our people have to become more conscious of this. Okay? So you don't need the phone all the time, especially while you're driving sometimes. I know you got the Bluetooth and it sounds convenient, but 20% of the accidents that are happening in the United States and abroad is due to us dealing with our phones, fumbling with our phones, while we should have our eyes on the road. So here it is. When we do have our phone, put it in your cell block bag. We got them here. They're very cheap. Put them in your cell block. Boom, it's done. You disappear off the grid, and you can be seen when you want to be seen. And Elder Gabar, when you come in after Gaja, I need you to give the link and tell brothers and sisters how they can get these bags, because we got these things. People talk about Faraday's, but we doubled the layer to make sure that nothing gets in, no signal. You're not going to beast mode us. We God's people, and we reject the mark of the beast. We reject anything being shot in our bloodstreams. We reject the Satanist imposition against God's people. And we're standing on the front line. You ain't going to find no sissified men like you seen there crying because he claimed Obama is president-elect. You're not going to find that amongst the men of God. You're not going to find that amongst the men of God in the Bible. And this is why they're actually putting these things out. Go ahead. I don't want to go ahead. I'm sorry, God. You finish what you had to say. And we're going to switch over to YouTube. Hold tight.